I'm Demi Utley, the founder here at Utley Strategies, and today I'm going to cover one of the most overlooked aspects of proposals. So while I often share tips on writing and proposal strategy, today I want to cover one of the most fundamental elements of your proposal, and that is its design. So proposal design has the ability to either help or hurt your authority, and it also can make your proposal easier to read and understand, or it can make your main points be lost in a sea of text. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you the basics of proposal design to make sure that you are starting off on a right foot. So let's go ahead and get started. Up first, we have color. So done well, color can actually help you to highlight key information in your proposal, showcase your brand, and make the overall document just a little bit more interesting and engaging for the buyer. But it is easy to overdo that. So whenever you are creating your proposal and you're designing it, you want to make sure that you still have plenty of white space and it's not just full of color, because that can be really overwhelming for a reader, especially if you have a lot of text or a lot of like dense information that you're trying to convey. You don't want the design to be distracting because it's going to take up too much brain power. So you don't want that. So always keep things simple and easy to read and navigate within your proposal. As far as color itself, I would recommend having about 3 colors within your proposal. So one of those is going to be the color of your text itself, which is normally something dark like black. You're also going to have a primary color, which is often one that's in your logo, and then a secondary color that's going to be used to draw attention to anything special that you want to draw attention to. The next thing we have is text. So proposals, of course, have a lot of text within them, and that makes it absolutely critical to making sure that you choose text that's easy to read. In general, you want to make sure that it's not too large or too small, because you want it to be something, again, that is really easy for the buyers to read. So most of the time, the actual body text, so the text itself, is normally between 10 and 12 point font. You also want to choose a typeface or font that's really easy for on the eyes, since there's going to be a lot of text within your proposal, most likely. So in general, most companies use something like Arial or Times New Roman, and there even are some RFPs I've seen where they say that you have to use a specific one. So just always read through to make sure that they don't say that if you're responding to RFPs. If you're not a designer, then I would recommend choosing something like Arial size 10 or 11, or Times New Roman size normally 12 is the most common for that. Another thing that you want to have in your proposal design is headings. So these are a great way to split up the text and the different sections within your proposal. So I tend to have at least 3 headings. Heading 1 is going to be something that's like the section headings. So this is where you might say something like pricing or scope of work or our team or something like that. And then headings 2 and 3 are going to be used to create sort of like subsections within those sections. The way to differentiate between the headings is to, you can like bold them, you can change the color, of course, make the size different, things like that. Another important aspect of proposal design is actually the tool that you use. So there are typically 3 main options that I see for proposals. So we have Adobe InDesign, Microsoft Word, and then some sort of proposal-specific software. So Adobe InDesign is great if you have a designer on your team or someone who's familiar with designing in Adobe products. This tends to be a challenge for a lot of companies because not everyone, especially small businesses, don't always have a designer on staff or even an Adobe license. So if that's not the case for you currently, then I would not recommend switching to it, because there are other tools that are a little bit easier to use from a design perspective. In my experience, Microsoft Word tends to be the most popular option. The majority of my clients are working within Microsoft Word, especially if you're responding to RFPs. Then Word is great because you can actually write within it and also design it. And it just has all of the features that you would need when responding to RFPs. So while it doesn't have some advanced design features, you actually can create still really well-designed documents within Microsoft Word. You just have to learn all of the features and functions of the tool to be able to do it. Another popular option, especially if you're not responding to RFPs, is to use some sort of proposal software that has good design built into it. So this is a great option if you want something like a template that you can use every time, that you can then just focus on customizing to the customer. So here at Utley Strategies, in non-RFP situations, we actually use something like PandaDoc. Well, PandaDoc is what we use, and I really like it. We actually switched to it because of its design capabilities. So if you need something, you're not responding to RFPs, then definitely check out PandaDoc, and I have a whole separate video on that. So you can go check that out as well. The final thing I'm going to mention today as far as proposal design is to make sure that you are using visuals throughout your proposal. So while proposals are very text-heavy documents, that doesn't mean you have to only include text. It's not a novel. For your proposals, you want to make sure that you have graphics, especially for any complicated ideas. You want to have a graphic to show that, call outs to highlight key points, maybe images of your team or your product and things like that. I personally really like to use some sort of visual to highlight any sort of win theme or key point that we want to emphasize within our proposal. Okay, so that's all that I have for you today for a very quick introduction to proposal design. If you'd like a little bit more of a deep dive, then make sure that you check out our course, Designing Proposals in Word, which is all about how you can actually design your proposal in Microsoft Word, and it shares some of the tools and the features and actually walks you through designing a proposal and where to get inspiration and things like that. So definitely check that out. I've linked to it below this video. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe for more proposal tips, and I'll see you in the next video.